This is John Locke for Lockdown Design and SEO, and today we're going to talk about quality content. We've talked about this several times in the past, but I wanted to bring it up today because I saw a forum post and it was asking about quality content. The original question the person was asking, how does Google determine what is quality content? What is the type of good content that makes one page rank and another page not rank? And what this person originally brought up is, well, it should be like free from grammatical errors and well formatted. It should read like a sentence, and that is the baseline, but that's only part of it. Let's really, for a minute, consider how Google determines what pages should rank for a certain query. All right, so Googlebot is a what they call a crawling spider. It's basically like a mechanism that goes link to link, where it crawls XML sitemaps if you have those submitted in Search Console. But otherwise, it just goes link to link around the web and finds different web pages and puts them in this big collection of all the web pages it's ever found called the index, okay? And when you type in a keyword or a keyword phrase or a search query, what Google does is basically it goes and says, here's a set of web pages or documents that could satisfy this query. Now we're going to rank it according to criteria that we've already set forth. Now the fact that this happens at such an amazingly fast speed, this is an engineering feat. Quite impressive that it happens as quickly as it does. But basically anything that you type into Google, it's going to find a set of documents that could satisfy that query and then rank them. Now, when we're talking about content on the page, what's on the page as far as like the written content or the video content, whatever it is that's on the page, what is Google looking for? How does it define quality content? Well, first off, one of the most basic things, and this has been since the beginning of search engines up until now, it's looking for some of the keywords that you've typed in. So if you've typed in something like, whatever, we'll say like Chicago pet grooming or something, it's looking for the presence of words like Chicago, which is an entity, it's a city, it knows that's a city in Illinois. Pet grooming, it knows that's a service. So it puts those things together, looks for the presence of those things in all the index of pages that it has in its collection. Now out of those, it's going to rank what's up there based on what it thinks is the best. Now it's going to look at different things, obviously, to determine how things are ranked. It's going to look at the content on the page. It's going to look at how people have interacted with the page, and this is a more recent thing that people don't really acknowledge all that much yet. And it also looks at the link profile of the site and some other things too. We're talking about local business. We'll just keep it with local business because that's a little bit easier to explain. But it looks at stuff like reviews on different sites that it would expect to see reviews on, like Google My Business, Yelp. I don't know if like Rover or something like that. We're talking pet grooming now. So it'd be different things where it would expect to see reviews. So it looks at that. But when we're talking about the content of the page, it's looking for different words that it would see associated with Chicago and pet grooming. So maybe it looks for the presence of words like dog, cat, different things like that. But that's only like one part of it. It's looking for sentence structure. Now, we did a video a while back on the Natural Language API, which is basically, it's how Google basically tries to make sense of sentences written down, text. It's on a page. And it basically is artificial intelligence, machine learning, where it's trying to figure out, meaning. Here's a noun, here's an adverb, here's an adjective. These things are entities. Here's a city, here's a type of service. But it tries to kind of figure out all these things and make sense of it. And it's really, it's not as good as a human, but it's a lot more advanced than you would think that it would be at this point. So quality content, when it comes to that, it's looking for all these things. When we're talking about how does it evaluate the quality, it might be looking for things like, here's a pattern that we've noticed, like when people seem to be happy and they convert, like meaning they hit the phone number, click the phone number, or they submit a contact form, or they do something like this. They take some kind of action on the page. Here are characteristics that we've noticed that are in common with different pages that have that conversion. So maybe there's something, maybe there's like an image at the top of the page, maybe there's a contact form somewhere on the page, maybe it mentions different phrases, or it has, certain things that it mentions, entities or different things. Maybe, in fact, too, it mentions specific pets that they groom or specific services. Maybe there's different pages on the site itself that are a sign of quality. Maybe it has like a privacy policy, maybe it has an about page, a contact page, maybe it has different services listed, it has different pages like that. Those can also be a sign of quality. Now, another thing as well, and this is not really about content at this point, but I might as well mention this, but it's when I say that they're looking for patterns of things, they're also looking at the link profile. So, things that might have a high quality rating, might, have a presence on Google My Business and Yelp, and maybe in the local Chamber of Commerce, might be listed on, Rover or something like that, or Thumbtack, or something like that. So all these things we have to look at when you evaluate like what is quality content. It's not just you got the words written right and it sounds like it was written by someone who graduated high school. The biggest thing is this getting people to their goal. And have we observed these different patterns? It mentions certain entities, it mentions certain phrases, words, synonymous words, or related things that are related to the main words. Or do all these things appear in the page? These might be signs of quality to Google. Now, there's also things that we're talking about in the link profile. It might be a certain distance from trusted seed sites. So if there's a trusted local site within that area, we'll say for sake of example, we're talking about Chicago pet grooming or something like that. Maybe it has a link from the Chicago Sun-Times website. The Chicago A-list or something like that. It has a link from these different things. It might be a certain distance. The links that it has in its profile are close to these trusted seed sites. Just keep in mind, I really do subscribe to, looking for overall patterns in different things. So they are looking for common threads in both the content on the page. They're looking at the link profile, and then they're looking at how people actually react to the page. And those three things are the real three legs of the table when it comes to it. Content, overall external reputation, and the actual user experience. Those things are the three legs of the table. But just when it comes to content, if you write like an eloquent human, that's going to be good. Original research, answering any questions that they might have, evaluate what you see top performing sites in a certain category doing. And if you do something similar, your odds are going to be really good. And from there, it's going to have to do with external things like links, reviews, where you're getting links from, and the overall design of your site. You can't have a really outdated design, not mobile friendly, looks like it was designed in the 1990s. Those things are going to gradually do worse and worse in search results because just frankly, they're not good results. So, you got to have all three of those things. Just when it comes to content, go watch that other video we did on the natural language API that I linked before. That'll give you kind of an idea of what they're looking for. Now, people are going to mention like Lsi keywords. A lot of people misuse that phrase. Basically, how people use that phrase and what they're really talking about is words that are synonymous and words that might be closely related to that. This is kind of how Google makes connections between different things. You have to think like, how would a machine be able to evaluate this? I don't want to say like think like a human because it's not a human, but really if you were a human, like what would you do? So again, we're just talking about local SEO as a service, but if you're talking about like blog posts or something like that, original research, hitting all the topics that are in a certain category, these are all things that you would want to do. I hope this gives you a little bit more food for thought when you're creating content. And again, it is the most important factor. You can have all the links, but if you don't have the right content on the page, then you will not do as well as you could. And my name is John Locke. My business is Lockedown Design and SEO. I'm here every other day making videos on SEO. I would love to see you subscribe. We're getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, and we'll be there eventually. But I'll see you in a couple days, and that's all I have for now. Until next time, peace.